Okay, Dr. Huq, thank you so much for joining us here this morning. So to kick things off, Bangladesh, it is the seventh most climate risk affected country in the world. It continues to face severe and also increasing climate risks. So as a well-established entrepreneur and business leader in Bangladesh, how do you think climate change impacts the private sector in your country?
Well, thank you very much for having me. As you all know, Bangladesh produces only 0.56% of the global emissions changing our climate. But yet it ranks seventh on the list, as you mentioned. Bangladesh hosts beauty and disaster at the same time. Bangladesh is home to Sundarbans. It's a mangrove forest. And this is the same thing that also makes Bangladesh one of the most vulnerable countries in the world. Because of the sea level rise. A staggering 2/3 of the country is less than 15 feet above the sea level. And increasingly, we have powerful cyclones, floods, and many other events touching our landscape. According to a US estimate, I think around 53 million people are subjected to very high exposure.
Dr. Huq, going off of that, can you speak more specifically to the role that the private sector can play when it comes to addressing some of these challenges posed by climate change, but also how can we perhaps better prepare ourselves and become more climate resilient?
People are all over Bangladesh are our asset. Bangladesh today, the ready-made garment industry is so competitive because of its competitive labor. And, we need to absolutely make sure that they're all safe. And if you talk about private sector role, we have 191 green factories. 53 out of the top 100 factories are in Bangladesh. So the fashion industry is committed towards a 1.5 degrees Celsius future. Because of our own interests, we need to tackle the industry's massive carbon footprint. We kind of realize our challenges and we are open about it. There are ample opportunities to reduce emissions across the supply chains. What we are trying to do is have more and more manufacturers disclose greenhouse gas emissions and other climate-related information.
And speaking now more into your recent role specifically, you served as a representative in the steering committee of the UNFCCC Fashion Industry Charter for Climate Action. So can you tell me more about the commitments that the industry has made and what's the current status?
The Fashion Charter was set up with the support of UN Climate Change in 2018. And it was specifically to provide a pathway for the industry to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. So this is in line with the global efforts to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Other commitments in the charter, of course, include sourcing 100% of electricity from renewable sources by 2030, which is going to be difficult for Bangladesh. But at least, sourcing of environmentally friendly raw materials, which is almost in practice, and phasing out coal from supply chain by 2030. So these are the principal commitments in the charter. And I'm happy to report that almost 80% of the companies who signed up for the Fashion Charter have started reporting.
Well, Dr. Huq, a lot of important work that you're doing and highlighting, and we're certainly grateful that you could take the time to speak with us here today on more about what Bangladesh is doing around climate action. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.